Hey friends! So, today on episode 7 of Traffic Tuesday, I'm gonna be filming it at home because it's a holiday and there's no reason for me to get stuck in traffic because there is no traffic because there's no class! Yeah! Anyway, on today's episode, we will be talking about it's a really interesting topic that I kind of discovered over the week. It's kind of like a combination of a lot of things into one. But so lately, I've been actually inspired by several events that have been happening across the weeks, which have been student elections at my university, some casual gossip that has been ongoing in my church, and just somebody who reached out to me about something really it's kind of a sad thing that she said to me, but I understand her point of view because I was in a position with her, but also relates back to student elections. So this idea of power, and I know it's like I'm 22, what am I supposed to know about power and like dynamics, power play and things like that, right? But when you think about it, when you run for student elections and things like that, which I have done before last year, and it was quite interesting because the things that come into play when you think about politics in general is so interesting, especially when obviously it's a popularity contest. Obviously, not everybody looks at the policies you want to implement or the things you want to renew or completely take off, but there are other things that come into perspective: your race, what major you're in, what is your background, how many friends do you have in university, how well connected you are. I mean, all these things come into play, and which kind of like comes back to the whole privilege thing of how privileged you are to be in the position you are in, which also comes into an aspect of power, which is so interesting. I know I didn't realize it until I was in it. So when it came to this year's election, so it was pretty evident that a power dynamics existed already into the system. Like one of the parties even said that, oh, we've been planning this for the whole year, and I'm like, whoa. I mean, I'm into being enthusiastic and super motivated about running for like student council, but y'all's 1 year in advance is a little teacher's pet-ish kind of situation. But it was really interesting because when I was watching the debates and things like that, a lot the things that people would say, like, oh, the English is not so good, oh, they're not so like fluent in a language, oh, they're so afraid on stage, but when you talk to them in real life, they're actually much better people. And I'm like, yeah, but a lot of people do take other aspects of the whole picture into perspective, which is so interesting to me. And so that was like a political side. And another power play that I've encountered was actually lately in my church. We've been having a lot of issues and conflicts, and when I say my church, it can be any church because I go to a lot of churches. I'm not stationed at one, so there are bound to be issues everywhere. But let me just put this so that nobody assumes I'm talking about anybody, but if the shoe fits, the shoe fits. Okay. So, in basically, a lot of people do think this, that if you're in a certain committee, you're in a certain group, you're in the right connections, you do have a certain power in making decisions, ruling over people's lives. Watch what words I use: decision making, ruling over people. Also, the way that they interact with others kind of come into play, which is quite interesting, isn't it? Because someone who is put into a position that in sort of a way is supposed to make the right decisions for everyone kind of takes it a little too much to their head by saying that, oh, now I can rule all over you. Yeah, exactly. So when sometimes like a commoner like myself like to say an opinion or something, I get judged the wrong way because apparently I'm in no position or shape or form to say anything because I'm not in this particular group, I'm not in this particular position to say anything. I'm a commoner. I'm nobody in comparison to somebody up high holding a position like secretary or president or whatever nonsense people like to put in groups in general. But this happens in the church as well, so that's my point. But anyway, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? The power dynamics that exist. And when you're in a position, so even like student council and things like that, people do think that, oh, if you're a president, oh, you have so much power and this and that. But when you think about it, no, you don't. You have a title and you have to do according to that title. not necessarily everything you want to do, you want to throw a riot. It doesn't work that way, guys. There are a lot of other institutions that come into place when you play power, but it's just that from the outside, oh, I have a position, so I can do whatever I want. But no, I'm sorry, but I have to burst your bubble here. The people are the power. You know, we've seen this in elections, we've seen this everywhere, but you need to understand at the end of the day, whatever you're running for or whatever you're doing is actually for the benefit of everybody else around you. You're not supposed to be selfish, because at the end of the day, like student councils or churches and things like that, you're doing it to serve the community. You're doing it to serve a higher purpose. And if you're going to be selfish and make decisions that suit you best, you're in the wrong line of duty. Let me just say, yeah, you're definitely in the wrong line of duty. And when someone told me, like, what if you didn't get the position? And obviously I didn't get elected for student council, which I am honestly very grateful for, because at the end of the day, the best person should get elected. And I wasn't the best candidate, my partner and me were in the best candidate, and someone else got it. And I'm actually eternally grateful, because they're doing an amazing job. And the thing about this is that when you even lose by a small margin, you really doubt yourself. And at one more point in my life, when I didn't get it, it was just like, damn, why am I doubting myself? Why am I this? Why am I that? Am I not good enough? But it's actually a lot of politics into play. Somebody else has the upper hand, which is technically those who vote you in, right? And it really shows that sometimes it really does matter what you put out, even though there's drama involved, like, oh, this person not good because they're not pretty, or like this person not good because they don't know how to speak. Yeah, those things people matter. It matters to some people, but at the end of the day, if your policies are good and what you want to do or what change you want to bring shines through, that's all that matters. And if it doesn't, then you have to think about, how else can I deliver my message to others? Is there any way that I can do this in another method that doesn't involve the student council? Which for me, I found my voice in that way. I didn't have to do what I wanted to do through the student council. I could find another avenue. And for me, I also realized my passion was somewhere else and not politics. It was serving the students in a different manner. And then the same thing in the church itself. Like, I found my way of serving the community through a different channel, if that makes sense. So if something doesn't work out for you in terms of like where you could emphasize your voice or emphasize your actions, it just means it's not your part. It could just be a different part. And doors open all the time. There are always windows you can crawl through, and doors that you break through, and walls that will fall. That always ensure that you have a place to do things. Yeah, so don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this topic is so big, and obviously there's only so much I can say about it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know your thoughts about power politics and power play and power dynamics in just general institutions all over the world. I'll see you guys in the next week's episode of Traffic Tuesday. Bye.